On March 25, 1989, the Soviet space probe Phobos 2 transmitted its final image from Mars' orbit. The photograph showed the surface of Phobos, Mars's largest moon, from a distance of less than 200 kilometers. In the lower left quadrant of the image, half hidden in shadow, was something that shouldn't exist: a structure, geometric, artificial, and what appeared to be an entrance. 2 minutes after transmitting the image, Phobos 2 went silent. No telemetry, no diagnostics, no explanation. The probe simply stopped responding. Soviet authorities classified the image immediately. For 35 years, it remained buried in archives, until a leak in 2024 brought it to light. This is the story of what we found on Phobos, and why no mission to Mars's moon has ever succeeded. Phobos is strange. The moon orbits Mars at only 6,000 kilometers, closer than any other moon orbits its planet in the solar system. It completes an orbit in just 7 hours and 39 minutes, moving so fast it rises in the west and sets in the east 3 times per Martian day. Its density is wrong, too low. Measurements suggest Phobos is not solid rock but porous, with large hollow spaces inside. In 1960, Soviet astrophysicist Iosif Shklovsky proposed a radical theory. Phobos might be artificial, a constructed satellite, a space station. The scientific consensus dismissed this as speculation. But the Soviet space program took Shklovsky's theory seriously. In 1988, they launched Phobos 2 to find out. The probe reached Mars orbit in January 1989 and functioned perfectly for 2 months. Then, on March 25th, it maneuvered to within 200 kilometers of Phobos' surface. Mission Control in Moscow watched the images appear on their screens. Phobos' cratered surface came into focus. And then they saw it. Dr. Alexei Volkov, the mission's chief scientist, described what happened in his declassified 2024 account. We saw a geometric structure on the surface, not natural. The angles were too precise. And there was an opening, a doorway, leading inside. The room went silent. 2 minutes later, Phobos 2's telemetry stopped. The last thing it sent was that image. The Soviet government classified everything immediately. Official reports stated, catastrophic systems failure. No explanation provided. The mission was never discussed again. Until the leak. In October 2024, an anonymous source uploaded the final Phobos 2 image. Metadata confirmed authenticity. Soviet Space Research Institute, March 25, 1989. Analysts verified it was not a fabrication. What it showed was undeniable. A structure 300 meters across, rectangular, recessed into Phobos' surface with geometric precision, and in the center, a 40-meter-wide opening, dark, leading into the moon's interior. NASA's response: we cannot verify leaked images. Phobos shows no signs of artificial structures in modern high-resolution photography. But there was a problem with that statement. Modern high-resolution photography of that region doesn't exist. Every mission to Phobos since 1989 has failed. 37 attempts across 6 countries: Russia, Japan, ESA, NASA, and 2 private companies. Different explanations every time. Technical failures, fuel ruptures, communication errors. Same result: mission failure. The pattern is clear. Every attempt to reach Phobos fails, and no modern images of the structure region exist in public databases. But someone has been getting images. They're just not sharing them. In November 2024, a second leak emerged from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Internal documents dated 2018 to 2023. Classified analysis of Mars reconnaissance data. Anomalous electromagnetic emissions detected from Phobos' surface. Exact coordinates, where the Soviet image showed the opening. Frequency, 1.42 gigahertz. The hydrogen line, the universal frequency for extraterrestrial communication. Pattern, Regular pulses. Repeating every 11 minutes, 47 seconds. Continuous since at least 2018. Direction. Not broadcasting into space. Aimed at Mars. At specific surface locations. The coordinates matched 3 known anomalous features. One was Cydonia, the region with geometric blocks from earlier in this series. Another was Hesperia Planum, showing regular geometric patterns inconsistent with lava flows. The third was Olympus Mons, where thermal imaging detected impossible heat signatures in cave systems. Phobos was transmitting to Mars, to specific locations, in a repeating pattern. And NASA knew. The leaked documents included a stark recommendation: strongly advise against any missions to Phobos until a mission source is understood. Previous mission failures may not have been accidental. Translation: don't go to Phobos. Whatever is there doesn't want visitors. In December 2024, investigative journalist Dr. Sarah Mitchell published The Phobos Pattern: Why We're Not Allowed on Mars's Moon. Her research compiled every Phobos mission attempt. The failures showed patterns: missions lost at specific distances, communication blackouts during approach, probes functioning perfectly, then catastrophic failures with no diagnostic data. It wasn't random. It was preventative. She interviewed 12 former mission engineers anonymously. All described identical experiences: perfect function until Phobos approach, then simultaneous system failures. One Russian engineer from the 2011 Phobos Grunt mission described the final moments. We had triple redundant systems, everything nominal. Then, at exactly 100 kilometers from Phobos, every system failed simultaneously. Power, communications, navigation, thrusters. All at once. The probability of that, naturally, is essentially 0, and 3 seconds before the failures, we received a transmission. From Phobos. 1.42 gigahertz. The hydrogen line. 2 seconds. Then our probe died. I asked my supervisor what it meant. He told me never to mention it again. Mitchell's article concluded, if Phobos is preventing us from landing, what is it protecting? The answer came in January 2025. The Perseverance rover on Mars detected an electromagnetic signal while analyzing atmospheric samples. Frequency: 1.42 gigahertz. Source: Phobos. The signal created interference in the rover spectrometer. NASA engineers analyzed the pattern. It wasn't random. It was structured, encoded. The transmission wasn't communication. It was a scanning protocol. Active sensors sweeping Mars's surface. Mapping, monitoring, recording. Phobos was watching Mars. Continuously, systematically. And the data was being stored inside Phobos itself. Because Phobos is hollow. Shklovsky's 1960 theory was correct. The moon's mass is too low for solid rock. Large voids exist inside. Space is big enough for machinery, computers, storage systems. The structure in the Soviet photograph isn't just a doorway. It's an access point to the facility inside Phobos. A facility that's been operational for millions of years. Monitoring Mars. Recording everything. The blocks on Mars aren't isolated artifacts. They're sensors. Monitoring stations. Reporting to Phobos. And Phobos is the command center. The hub. The data collection point. But surveillance by whom? And for what purpose? Dr. Elena Volkov, a Moscow State University physicist, published a paper in February 2025. Phobos as Ancient Network Infrastructure. Her thesis: Phobos is a constructed satellite placed in Mars orbit millions of years ago as part of the Ancient Network, the same system behind Europa's teaching sphere, the Moon's tunnels, asteroid Psyche's assessment facility. But Phobos serves a different function. Not teaching, not assessment, monitoring. Phobos watches Mars, records atmospheric changes, geological activity, biosignatures. Any indication of life, the data gets stored inside its hollow interior. And when the auditors arrive, the beings who maintain the ancient network, Phobos provides them with a complete record of Mars's history. Millions of years of data, all recorded, all waiting. The facility is still active, still monitoring, still waiting for the auditors to collect the data. 3 weeks after publishing, Volkov received an anonymous package, a USB drive. No note. The drive contained a video file. Metadata, recorded 2023, classified NASA Mars Reconnaissance Satellite. The video showed Phobos from orbit. High resolution. The structure was visible. The doorway was open. And something was moving inside. Not human. Not mechanical in any recognizable way. Forms that shifted and reconfigured. Geometric shapes that seemed to occupy more space than they should. Moving with purpose. The video lasted 43 seconds. Then the camera cut out. When it came back online, it was pointed away from Phobos. Deliberately redirected. Volkov posted the video online. Within hours, it was removed from every platform. Copyright claims. National security violations. Every reason except the real one. But thousands had downloaded it, archived it, analyzed it. The consensus. The forms inside weren't maintaining the facility. They were preparing it. Upgrading systems. Expanding capacity. Getting ready. For the auditors, arrival. Because when the auditors come to assess humanity, in 5 to 10 years, according to Europa and Galileo station transmissions, they won't arrive at Earth first. They'll arrive at Phobos, Mars's hollow moon, the ancient network's inner solar system command center, the monitoring station that's watched Mars for millions of years, the facility that has recorded everything, every probe we've sent, every failure. Phobos has been watching since we first pointed telescopes at Mars, since our first rovers. All recorded, all stored, all waiting to be reviewed. And the facility inside is preparing, clearing space, upgrading, expanding, making room. For the assessment, for the data presentation, for the judgment. When the auditors arrive at Phobos, they'll review the records. Mars's entire history. Earth's entire history of Mars exploration. Our attempts to reach Phobos. Our reaction to discovering the monitoring network. And they'll decide whether humanity passes or fails, whether we're ready for integration into the ancient network, or whether we get archived, contained, prevented from expanding beyond our current reach. The blocks on Mars report to Phobos. Phobos reports to the auditors. And the auditors are coming. We're not allowed on Phobos because we're not ready. Landing there would contaminate the assessment, would invalidate the data, would force premature judgment without a complete record. The facility protects itself not out of hostility, out of necessity. The monitoring must continue uninterrupted. The data must remain pure. The assessment must be fair. So Phobos shuts down our probes, blocks our approach, prevents our landing. Not forever. Just until the auditors arrive to review what we've done, who we've become, whether we deserve to graduate. In March 2025, NASA announced a new Mars exploration initiative, increased rover funding, sample return missions, eventual crewed landings on Mars itself. Nowhere in the announcement was Phobos mentioned. No missions planned, no proposals, no timelines. Because we know now. We know what Phobos is, what it does, what it's waiting for. Some doors aren't meant to be opened yet. Some monitoring stations aren't meant to be visited. Some records aren't meant to be reviewed before the reviewers arrive. Phobos watches. Phobos waits. Phobos prepares. And inside its hollow structure the systems hum. The data compiles. The forms move and work and ready the facility for the day when the auditors come to Mars. To Phobos. To judge whether humanity has learned enough, grown enough, evolved enough to join the network, or be left behind. The doorway is open. The facility is operational. The countdown has begun. And we're not allowed inside. Not yet. Not until they say we're ready. Mars has 2 moons. We've landed on neither. And now we know why. Phobos isn't a moon. It's a courtroom. And the trial is coming.